Maya Rodriguez stood outside Lincoln High School and felt her heart beat faster. 3 years ago, she had walked out of these same doors as a regular 16-year-old girl. Now she was 19 and had more combat experience than most soldiers. Twice her age. The alien war was over, humanity had won, and she was supposed to be happy about coming home. But standing here with her old backpack felt scarier than facing enemy fire. The morning sun made the school building look exactly the same as when she left. Red brick walls, blue metal doors, and the same old flag hanging by the entrance. Students walked past her, talking and laughing like the universe hadn't almost ended while they were here learning math and history. Maya watched them and wondered if she would ever feel that carefree again. Her mother had insisted she come back to finish high school. "You need to be normal again," Maria Rodriguez had said while packing Maya's lunch like she was still a child. "You need to have friends and go to dances and worry about grades." Maya didn't tell her mother that she had forgotten how to be normal. She had forgotten how to care about anything that wasn't life or death. The school bell rang and Maya jumped. Her hand moved to her hip where her plasma rifle used to hang. Nothing was there except empty air and the embarrassment of looking like a fool. She took a deep breath and walked through the doors. The hallways smelled like cleaning products and teenage sweat. Lockers slammed shut and sneakers squeaked on the polished floor. Maya's ears picked up every sound and her eyes scanned every corner. 3 years of war had taught her to always watch for danger. Her body didn't understand that high school wasn't a battlefield. Maya Rodriguez reporting to the main office. She said to the secretary behind the desk. Mrs. Johnson looked up and smiled the kind of smile adults, they didn't know what to say. "Oh honey, you don't have to report like that. You're just a student here. Principal Carter wants to see you though." Principal Carter's office was exactly as Maya remembered. Same wooden desk, same motivational posters on the walls, same smell of coffee and paper. Elizabeth Carter stood up when Maya entered, and her face showed pride mixed with worry. "Maya, welcome back. We're so proud of what you've done for our country, for all of humanity really." Mrs. Carter gestured to the chair across from her desk. "How are you feeling about being back?" Maya sat down and tried to think of the right answer. How did she feel? Confused, out of place. Like she was wearing clothes that didn't fit anymore. "I'm fine, ma'am, ready to learn." Mrs. Carter nodded, but her eyes said she didn't believe it. "I want you to know that everyone here supports you. If you need anything, anything at all, you just ask. We've arranged for you to see our counselor twice a week. And if any of the other students give you trouble, you come straight to me." Maya almost laughed. Other students giving her trouble. She had killed alien soldiers who were 8 feet tall and could shoot acid from their claws. She thought she could handle teenage drama, but she just nodded and said, "Thank you." Her first class was algebra with Mr. Peterson. Maya sat in the back corner where she could see the whole room and both exits. Old habits from war zones. The teacher was explaining something about solving for X. But Maya found herself counting how many students were in the room and noting which ones looked strong enough to be threats. A boy named Chris turned around and whispered, "Hey, is it true you killed like 100 aliens?" Maya stared at him. "I did my job. That's so cool. Did you use one of those plasma rifles?" "My dad says they can cut through steel." "Pay attention to your math," Maya said quietly. Chris turned back around, but she could see other students glancing at her. Their looks made her feel like an animal in a zoo. The rest of the morning went the same way. Students staring, teachers being extra nice, everyone treating her like she might break or explode at any moment. By lunchtime, Maya felt more tired than after a full day of combat training. She sat alone at a table in the corner of the cafeteria. The food tasted like cardboard compared to military rations, which was saying something. Around her, hundreds of students talked about homework and weekend plans and who was dating who. Their problems seemed so small, so safe, so wonderfully normal. Maya Rodriguez, as I live and breathe. She looked up to see Jake Morrison standing by her table with that same confident smile he'd always had. Jake had been her boyfriend before. She left for the war. Captain of the football team, popular with everyone, the kind of boy every girl wanted to date. Looking at him now, Maya wondered what she had ever seen in him. "Hi, Jake." He sat down without being invited. "Man, you look great. Different, but great. I heard you're some kind of war hero now. Silver Star and everything." Maya nodded but didn't say anything. She had learned that people heard what they wanted to hear about the war. They wanted stories about brave humans fighting evil aliens. They didn't want to know about the friends she had lost or the nightmares that still woke her up screaming. "So I was thinking," Jake continued, "maybe we could hang out sometime. Go to a movie or something. Like old times." Maya studied his face. Jake had no idea how much she had changed. He was looking at her like she was the same girl who had giggled at his jokes and worn his football jersey to games. That girl felt like someone Maya had read about in a book. "I don't think that's a good idea," she said. Jake's smile faltered. "Come on, Maya. We were good together. I waited for you." "You didn't wait for me. You waited for who you thought I was." "Before." Jake could answer. A loud crash came from the kitchen. Someone had dropped a tray of dishes. The sound of breaking glass and metal hitting the floor sent Maya diving under the table. Her body moved without thinking, taking cover the way she had learned to do when enemy grenades exploded. The cafeteria went silent. Every student was staring at her. Maya crawled out from under the table, her face burning with embarrassment. She could hear whispers starting, saw phones coming out to record her. This would be all over social media in minutes. She stood up, grabbed her backpack, and walked out of the cafeteria. Behind her, Jake was calling her name, but she didn't stop. She needed air. She needed space. She needed to be anywhere but here. Maya found herself in the empty science hallway, sitting on the floor with her back against the lockers. She closed her eyes and tried to control her breathing the way her squad leader had taught her. In for 4 counts, hold for 4, out for 4. It was supposed to calm her down, but all it did was remind her of everything she was trying to forget. War was over. She had survived. She was home. She should be happy. But sitting in that hallway, Maya realized that coming home might be the hardest battle she had ever fought. Maya's second week at Lincoln High started with an announcement that made her stomach drop. Principal Carter's voice came through the intercom during first period, cheerful and proud. "Students, I'm excited to tell you about our new exchange program. As part of the peace treaty, we're welcoming 3 special students from our former enemy worlds. Please join me in making them feel at home here at Lincoln High." Maya gripped her pencil so hard it snapped. Former enemies, here, in her school. She had spent 3 years fighting these aliens, watching them kill her friends, learning to hate everything about them. Now she was supposed to sit in class with them and pretend everything was fine. The first one she saw was in her chemistry class. He looked almost human except for the slight blue tint to his skin and eyes that were too large and too knowing. He sat in the front row, his back straight like a soldier at attention. When he turned to look around the room, his gaze stopped on Maya. For a moment, they stared at each other across the classroom. Maya knew that look. She had seen it in mirrors and in the faces of other veterans. It was the look of someone who had seen too much, done too much, survived too much. This alien boy had been a soldier too. "Class, I'd like you to meet Zach," said Mrs. Williams, the chemistry teacher. "He's from the Zephyrian system, and he's very interested in learning about human science." Zach stood up and nodded politely. "Thank you for having me. I look forward to learning with all of you." His English was perfect, with just a slight accent that made some words sound musical. The other students whispered among themselves. Maya heard fragments of their conversations. He's actually kind of cute. Do you think he's dangerous? My dad says we shouldn't trust them. I wonder if he has superpowers. Maya said nothing. She watched Zach throughout the class and noticed things the other students missed. The way he sat near the exit. How his eyes scanned the room every few minutes. The slight tension in his shoulders that never went away. He was doing the same things she did. The same survival habits that war had beaten into both of them. At lunch, Maya saw the other two exchange students. One was a girl with skin that looked like it was made of crystal. She sat with the science club kids, asking them rapid questions about human culture and taking notes in a tablet that glowed when she touched it. The students around her seemed fascinated rather than afraid. The third alien was harder to spot at first. He looked the most human of the three, but something about him seemed sad. He sat alone at a table, barely touching his food, watching the other students with an expression Maya couldn't quite read. When a group of football players at the next table started laughing loudly, he winced like the sound hurt him. Maya found herself walking toward Zach's table without really deciding to. He looked up as she approached, and she saw recognition in his alien eyes. "You fought," he said quietly. It wasn't a question. "You too," Maya replied. Zach nodded. "I was in the 3rd Assault Fleet. We attacked your colony on Titan 7. Maya felt her hands clench into fists. "I was there. I helped defend the civilian shelters." They looked at each other for a long moment. Maya expected to feel anger or hatred, but instead she felt something strange. Understanding. This alien boy had been following orders just like she had. He had been scared and brave and trying to survive just like she had. "I'm sorry," Zach said. "For what happened there. For what we did." Maya didn't know what to say. She had never heard an enemy soldier apologize before. "I'm sorry too, for your people we killed." The crystal girl appeared at their table like she had materialized out of thin air. "This is fascinating. You're both displaying signs of what humans call survivor's guilt, but also mutual recognition of shared trauma. I'm Lyra, by the way. I'm studying human social dynamics for my thesis." "You're treating us like lab rats," Maya said, but she wasn't really angry. There was something refreshing about Lyra's direct approach. "Oh, I study everyone. Did you know that human teenagers have 47 different types of social anxiety? And that's just what I've observed in the past week." Lyra sat down without being invited and pulled out her glowing tablet. "You two are much more interesting, though. Former enemies finding common ground, very rare in the galaxy." The sad-looking alien boy approached their table slowly, like he was afraid to interrupt. "May I sit? The emotions here are very loud. You three are the only ones who feel calm." "Emotions?" Maya asked. "I'm Corin. My people, we feel what others feel. It's how we understand each other. But humans have so many feelings all at once. It's overwhelming." Maya looked around the cafeteria with new eyes. She saw the stress of students worried about tests, the excitement of those planning for the weekend, the anger of friends who had argued, the sadness of those who felt left out. If Corin could feel all of that at once, no wonder he looked tired. "The war must have been horrible for you," she said. Corin nodded. "We didn't fight. We tried to help anyone who was hurt, from any species. But feeling the pain and fear of everyone around you." He shuddered. "I still have nightmares made of other people's memories." "We all do," Zach said quietly. For the rest of lunch, the four of them sat together in their strange group. Maya found herself talking more than she had since coming home. These three aliens understood things that her human classmates couldn't. They knew what it meant to have your childhood end too soon. They knew what it felt like to carry memories that were too heavy. They knew the weight of surviving when others didn't. Lyra asked questions about everything, genuinely curious about how humans and Zephyrians and Tyrillians all dealt with trauma differently. Corin shared stories about trying to heal people who didn't want to be healed. Zach talked about the honor debts his people carried for friends lost in battle. Maya told them about her squad, about the friends she had lost, about the impossible choices she had made. For the first time since coming home, she felt like someone understood. "It's strange," she said as lunch was ending. "I spent 3 years learning to hate your species. Now I feel closer to you three than anyone else in this school." "Perhaps," said Lyra, making notes on her tablet, "that's because shared trauma creates stronger bonds than shared joy." "Fascinating." "Or maybe," said Corin, "we understand each other because we've all learned that the universe is bigger and more complicated than anyone tells you when you're young." Zach nodded. "War changes you. It doesn't matter what species you are. It changes everyone the same way." As they walked to their next classes, Maya realized something had shifted. For the first time since coming home, she didn't feel alone. She had found people who understood her, even if they happened to be from the species she had spent years fighting. The afternoon felt different. When other students stared at their strange group walking together, Maya didn't care as much. When teachers looked worried about the former enemies becoming friends, she ignored them. When Jake Morrison tried to talk to her again and asked why she was hanging out with those aliens, she told him it was none of his business. That night, Maya went to bed thinking about her new friends instead of her old nightmares. Maybe coming home wouldn't be as impossible as she had thought. Maybe healing could happen in the most unlikely places, with the most unlikely people. Maybe former enemies could become the truest friends of all. Maya thought things were getting better until the school decided to make her famous. She was sitting in English class when Principal Carter walked in with a big smile and a man in expensive suit. "Maya, this is Mr. Roberts from the school board. He has some exciting news for you." Mr. Roberts shook Maya's hand too hard and spoke too loudly. "Maya Rodriguez, hero of humanity. We want to honor you properly. The school board has approved a special assembly next Friday called Welcome Home Heroes. You'll wear your uniform, give a speech about freedom and sacrifice, and we'll present you with a special award." Maya felt her stomach turn cold. "I don't think that's necessary, sir. Nonsense. The community needs to see what real courage looks like. The local news will be there, maybe even some reporters from the big networks. This will put Lincoln high on the map." After Mr. Roberts left, Maya's English teacher, Mrs. Grant, tried to be supportive. "It's wonderful that they want to recognize your service, Maya. You should be proud." But Maya wasn't proud. She was terrified. The thought of standing in front of the whole school in her uniform, pretending to be some kind of perfect hero, made her feel sick. They wanted her to perform her trauma for their entertainment. They wanted her to be a symbol instead of a person. At lunch, her 3 alien friends could tell something was wrong. Corin winced when he sat down. "Your emotions are very sharp today. What happened?" Maya told them about the assembly. Zach's blue skin went even paler. "They want to put you on display?" "Like a trophy," Maya said bitterly. "They don't care about what I actually went through. They just want to feel good about supporting their local war hero." Lara tapped her tablet thoughtfully. "This is a common pattern. Humans often prefer simple stories about good and evil rather than complex truths about trauma and survival." "It's worse than that," Corinne said quietly. "I can feel what the other students think when they look at you. Some see you as a celebrity. Others are afraid of you. A few think you're lying about what you did in the war. But almost none of them see you as just Maya." The assembly wasn't Maya's only problem. Her parents had started treating her like she might disappear again at any moment. Her mother packed huge lunches and called the school twice a day to check on her. Her father asked awkward questions about her feelings and whether she was sleeping okay. Her little brother Danny barely talked to her anymore, like he was afraid of saying the wrong thing. Her old friends were even worse. They invited her to parties and acted like nothing had changed, but Maya could see the curiosity in their eyes. They wanted war stories. They wanted to hear about the aliens she had killed and the battles she had won. When she refused to talk about it, they looked disappointed. Jake Morrison wouldn't leave her alone. He kept trying to convince her to go out with him, talking about how proud he was to know a real hero. He brought her flowers and chocolates and stood too close when he talked to her. When she told him to stop, he acted hurt and confused. "I'm trying to be supportive, Maya. I'm trying to be the boyfriend you deserve. I never asked you to be my boyfriend again," Maya replied. "I never asked for any of this." "You're different now," Jake said. "Harder. The old Maya would have appreciated what I'm doing." The old Maya doesn't exist anymore. The breaking point came during gym class. Coach Wilson had decided that Maya should demonstrate military fitness techniques to the other students. He made her wear her old training uniform and show everyone how to do proper push-ups and sit-ups. "This is what real discipline looks like," Coach Wilson announced as Maya reluctantly demonstrated exercises she had done 1,000 times in basic training. "This is what made our Maya into a hero." The other students watched her like she was performing in a circus. Some looked impressed, others bored, a few seemed envious. Maya felt like she was being stripped naked in front of them. These weren't military exercises anymore. They were just another way for people to stare at her and make her into something she WSN single quotes T. After class, she found herself crying in the empty locker room. She hadn't cried since coming home, but the constant pressure of being everyone's idea of a hero was breaking her down. She wasn't a hero. She was just a 19-year-old girl who had done what she had to do to survive. Zach found her there. He didn't say anything at first, just sat down on the bench beside her. Finally, he spoke. "On my world, we have a word for what you're experiencing. It translates roughly to hero poisoning. It's what happens when others refuse to let you be anything except their idea of what you should be." "How do you deal with it?" Maya asked. "Badly, usually. But I've learned something here. The strongest warriors know when to stop fighting." Maya looked at him. "What do you mean?" "You've been fighting this school the same way you fought the war. Trying to overcome every challenge, trying to prove you can handle anything. But maybe the real battle isn't about winning. Maybe it's about choosing which fights are worth having." That afternoon, Maya made a decision. She walked into Principal Carter's office without an appointment. "I'm not doing the assembly," she said. Mrs. Carter looked surprised. "Maya, I know it seems scary, but this is a wonderful opportunity to inspire other students." "I don't want to inspire anyone. I want to be a normal student who happens to have served in the war. I want people to stop treating me like a symbol." "But, Maya, you are a symbol. You represent the best of humanity." "No, I don't. I represent one person who survived something terrible and is trying to figure out how to live with it. That's not symbolic. That's just human." Mrs. Carter tried to argue, but Maya had made up her mind. She wasn't going to wear her uniform for their cameras. She wasn't going to give a speech about freedom and sacrifice. She wasn't going to be their performing hero. The news didn't go over well. Mr. Roberts called her selfish and ungrateful. Some students said she thought she was too good for the school. A few teachers looked at her with disappointment. Jake Morrison accused her of becoming stuck-up, but Maya felt lighter than she had in weeks. For the first time since coming home, she had chosen not to fight a battle that everyone expected her to win. She had chosen to be herself instead of being their hero. At lunch, her 3 friends were waiting for her with proud smiles. "I felt your decision from across the school," Corinne said. "It was like watching someone finally put down a weight they'd been carrying too long." "Fascinating," said Lyra. "You've discovered that refusing to meet others' expectations can be more powerful than trying to exceed them." Zach nodded approvingly. Now you're learning to fight the battles that matter instead of the battles others choose for you. Maya sat down with her strange group of former enemies and realized something important. She didn't need to be anyone's hero. She just needed to be herself. And maybe, for the first time since coming home, that was finally enough. Maya's refusal to be the school's performing hero changed everything, but not in the way she expected. Instead of making her life easier, it seemed to make some people even more determined to fix her. Dr. Wong, the school counselor, started calling Maya to her office 3 times a week instead of 2. She had new pamphlets about post-traumatic stress and adjustment disorders. She spoke in a soft voice about healing and moving forward and letting go of the past. Maya, I'm concerned that you're isolating yourself from the school community, Dr. Wong said during one session. Your refusal to participate in the assembly suggests you're not processing your experiences in a healthy way. Maya stared at the motivational posters on the walls. One showed a kitten hanging from a tree branch with the words, "Hang in there," written underneath. Another had a sunrise over mountains and said, "Every day is a new beginning." I'm not isolating myself. I have friends. Yes, but they're not human friends. Don't you think it would be healthier to connect with people from your own species? People who share your background and values. Maya thought about her 3 alien friends. Zach, who understood the weight of carrying orders that got people killed. Lyra, who asked real questions instead of just waiting for her turn to talk. Corin, who could feel her actual emotions instead of projecting what he thought she should feel. They understand me better than anyone else in this school. Dr. Wong made notes on her clipboard. That's exactly what I'm worried about. You're avoiding the difficult work of reintegrating with human society. Maya stopped going to the counseling sessions after that. She forged her mother's signature on the permission slips and spent those periods in the library with her friends instead. They had found a quiet corner behind the science books where they could talk without being interrupted. It was there that Lyra made an announcement that surprised everyone. I've been studying human educational systems, and I think we should start a club. What kind of club? Maya asked. A peer support group. But not the kind with counselors and official therapy. Just a place where students can talk about real problems with people who actually listen. Zach looked interested. Many humans seem to need this. I've noticed that your species often suffers alone rather than asking for help. And the emotions in this school are very complicated, Karan added. There are students who are in real pain, but they hide it because they think no one will understand. Maya liked the idea, but she worried about the attention it might bring. What if the teachers try to take it over? What if they turn it into another way to make us into symbols? Then, we don't tell them, Lyra said simply. We just start helping people. They began slowly. Maya noticed Lucy Chen, a quiet freshman who ate lunch alone and always looked scared. Maya remembered being 14 and feeling like the world was too big and too dangerous. She sat down next to Lucy one day and just started talking. High school is weird, Maya said. Everyone acts like they know what they're doing, but most of us are just pretending. Lucy looked surprised that someone was talking to her. It's not like middle school at all. Everything is so much more complicated. Want to sit with me and my friends tomorrow? We're kind of an odd group, but we don't pretend to have everything figured out. Lucy nodded gratefully, and the next day, she joined their table. She was nervous at first around the 3 aliens, but Corin's gentle questions and Lyra's genuine curiosity soon put her at ease. Zach told her stories about his own first days at the school, when everything seemed strange and frightening. Word spread quietly. Other students started joining their lunch table. Marcus, a senior who was struggling with his parents' divorce. Amy, a sophomore who felt like she didn't fit in anywhere. David, a junior whose anxiety made every day feel like a battle. Maya found herself becoming something she had never planned to be, a listener. Her war experiences had taught her that sometimes the most important thing you could do was just survive another day. Now she learned that sometimes the most important thing you could do was help someone else survive theirs. The group grew. They moved from their lunch table to meeting after school in empty classrooms. Maya used the leadership skills the military had taught her, but in a completely different way. Instead of giving orders, she asked questions. Instead of solving problems, she helped people find their own solutions. "I don't understand," said Marcus during one meeting. "My parents keep telling me their divorce isn't my fault, but if it's not my fault, why does it hurt so much?" "Because pain doesn't follow logic," Coran answered gently. "You can know something isn't your fault and still feel responsible. That's normal." "In my culture," Zach added, "we say that the heart and the mind speak different languages. Sometimes they disagree, even when they're both right." Lyra pulled out her tablet. "I've been researching human family dynamics. Did you know that children of divorce often feel responsible because taking blame feels better than feeling helpless? If it's your fault, then maybe you can fix it." Maya watched Marcus's face change as he realized he wasn't alone in feeling confused and guilty. This was what she had been looking for since coming home, a way to use her experiences to help instead of just to perform. The homecoming dance was approaching, and Maya dreaded it. She had planned to skip it entirely until Lyra made an unexpected suggestion. "We should all go together, as a group." "A group date?" Amy asked. "Not a date, a statement. That friendship matters more than fitting into expected social patterns." Maya liked the idea more than she thought she would. On the night of the dance, she met her friends outside the school gym. They made an unusual group: a human war veteran, a former enemy soldier, a neutral scientist, an empathic healer, and half a dozen human students who had found friendship in unexpected places. Jake Morrison was there with his new girlfriend, a cheerleader who giggled at everything he said. He looked at Maya's group with confusion and what might have been jealousy. "You're really going to the dance with a bunch of aliens instead of a real date?" "I'm going with my real friends," Maya replied. "There's a difference." The dance was better than Maya had expected. She and her friends created their own corner of the gym, dancing in their own style and talking about everything and nothing. When the DJ played slow songs, they sat together and watched the other couples, making quiet observations about human mating rituals that made Lyra take notes and everyone else laugh. Near the end of the evening, Principal Carter approached their group. Maya tensed, expecting another lecture about school spirit and community involvement. Instead, Mrs. Carter smiled. "I've been watching your group this semester. I don't know exactly what you're doing, but several students have told me that you've helped them through difficult times. I wanted to say thank you." Maya felt something she hadn't experienced since coming home: pride that had nothing to do with war or heroism or meeting other people's expectations. She had found a way to use her experiences to help others, without becoming a symbol or a performer. As the dance ended and her friends said their goodbyes, Maya realized that she had finally found her place. Not as the girl she had been before the war, and not as the hero everyone wanted her to be, but as someone new entirely. Someone who had been broken by terrible experiences and had learned to heal by helping others heal. The war had changed her, but it hadn't destroyed her. High school had challenged her in ways she never expected, but it had also taught her something important. Sometimes the greatest strength wasn't in fighting battles or surviving impossible odds. Sometimes the greatest strength was in choosing to build something good from the pieces of what had been lost. Maya Rodriguez walked out of the school gym, knowing that she had finally come home. Not to the place she had left, but to the person she was meant to become.